Hey, I'm glad you're here. I don't know what time it is where you are. Maybe it's late, the kind of late where the house is finally quiet and you can hear yourself think. Maybe it's early, before the day has started asking things of you. Maybe you're somewhere in between, stealing a few minutes in the middle of everything. Wherever you are, whatever brought you here, welcome. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to remember everything I say. You don't even have to stay until the end. This isn't a lecture. It's not a program. There's no quiz. It's just a place to rest for a while. I called this episode, You Don't Have to Earn Your Rest. And I know that might sound simple, maybe even obvious, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I'm not sure it's as obvious as it sounds. Because most of us, if we're honest, don't really believe it. We believe rest is something that comes after the work is done, after we've proven ourselves, after we've checked enough boxes or pushed through enough hard days. Rest as reward. Rest as something we have to deserve. And if that's the story we've been living inside, then we're probably exhausted. Because the work is never really done, is it? There's always more, always another thing. So we keep going, and the rest never comes. Or it comes, but it comes with guilt, with the nagging sense that we should be doing something else, that we're falling behind, that stillness is a luxury we haven't earned. I want to sit with that tonight, or today, whenever you're listening, not to fix it, not to give you a 5-step plan for resting better, just to look at it, gently. And maybe, by the end, something will have softened. Maybe you'll feel a little more allowed. That's all I'm hoping for. So let's begin. I don't know where you first learned that rest had to be earned. Maybe it was explicit, someone telling you that idle hands were dangerous, that hard work was the measure of a person, that you'd have time to rest when you were dead. Maybe it was subtler, just the water you swam in, the way the adults around you never stopped moving, the praise that came when you achieved, and the silence that came when you didn't. Maybe it came from faith, or from a version of faith, the idea that God was always watching, always measuring, and that your worth was tied to your usefulness. I'm not here to blame anyone for that. Most of the people who passed these ideas on to us were doing the best they could with what they had. They were probably exhausted too. But somewhere along the way, a lot of us absorbed a belief that goes something like this: I am only worth what I produce. And once that belief is inside you, rest becomes almost impossible. Because rest, by definition, is non-productive. It doesn't generate anything. It doesn't check boxes. It doesn't move you forward, at least not in ways you can measure. So if your worth is tied to your output, then rest feels like a threat to your worth. It feels lazy. It feels indulgent. It feels like something you have to justify. I think a lot of us are walking around with this low-grade guilt all the time. Even when we're technically resting, sitting on the couch, lying in bed, taking a day off, there's a voice in the back of our minds whispering that we should be doing something else, something productive, something useful, something that earns our place in the world. And so we're never really resting. We're just pausing between performances, waiting for the next thing we have to prove. I've felt that. I've taken a day off and spent the whole day feeling like I was getting away with something, like I was stealing time that didn't belong to me. And I've wondered, where did that come from? Who taught me that my own life wasn't mine to rest in? The answer, I think, is complicated. It's cultural, it's economic, it's sometimes religious. It's in the air we breathe. But here's what I've come to believe. It's a lie. Not a lie anyone told us on purpose, necessarily, but a lie all the same. Because you are not a machine. You are not a productivity tool. You are not here to optimize your output until you collapse. You are a person, a whole, breathing, complicated person. And persons need rest, not as a reward, not as something earned, just because. I know that might be hard to believe. It's hard for me to believe too some days. But I think it's true. And I think the more we sit with that truth, the more it can begin to change something inside us. So if rest isn't a reward, what is it? I've been thinking about this for a while, and the best word I've found is this: trust. Rest is an act of trust. Let me explain what I mean. When you rest, really rest, not just collapse from exhaustion, you're making a kind of statement. You're saying, the world will keep turning without me for a while. The work will still be there, the people I love will be okay, and I am allowed to stop. That takes trust. Trust that you're not holding everything together by sheer force of will. Trust that your worth doesn't disappear the moment you stop producing. Trust that there's something or someone holding it all, and it's not you. There's a verse I come back to sometimes. It's from the Psalms, Psalm 127. It says, "In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for God grants sleep to those he loves." I've read that verse 100 times, and it still catches me off guard. Because it's saying something countercultural. It's saying that the endless striving, the early mornings and late nights, the constant toil, it's not what earns you God's love. Sleep is not a reward for working hard enough. Sleep, rest, is a gift given freely to those God loves, which is everyone. Now, I'm not here to preach at you. I don't know what you believe about God or faith or any of that, and that's okay. But I think there's something in that verse that's true regardless of what you believe. The idea that rest is given, not earned. The idea that you can receive it without having to qualify for it first. That's a different kind of story than the one most of us have been living. In the tradition I come from, there's this concept called Sabbath. It's the idea of setting aside one day each week for rest, not because you've finished all your work, but precisely because you haven't. The Sabbath comes whether you're ready for it or not. It's not a reward for completing your to-do list. It's a rhythm built into the fabric of time itself. And the people who practiced it, who still practice it, they did it as an act of defiance in a way. Defiance against the voice that says you must always be producing. Defiance against the lie that your worth is measured by your output. They rested not because they had earned it, but because they trusted that the world wouldn't fall apart if they stopped. I think there's something beautiful in that. And I think it's something a lot of us have lost. We've lost the ability to stop without guilt, to be still without restlessness, to trust that we are held even when we're not holding anything ourselves. Rest is an act of trust, and learning to trust, really trust, might be one of the bravest things we ever do. Now, I want to be careful here, because when I talk about rest, I don't want to confuse it with something else. There's a difference between rest and escape. They can look similar on the outside. Both might involve lying on the couch. Both might involve stepping away from responsibilities. Both might involve doing nothing. But they feel different on the inside. Rest restores, escape avoids. Let me say that again because I think it matters. Rest restores, escape avoids. When you're truly resting, there's a sense of presence. You're not running from anything. You're not numbing out. You're simply being, letting your body and mind recover, letting yourself exist without performing. And when you come out of it, you feel more like yourself, more grounded, more able to face what's next. Escape is different. Escape is what happens when you can't face something, so you check out. You numb. You scroll. You binge. You sleep not because you're tired, but because being awake is too hard. And when you come out of it, you don't feel restored. You feel hollow, or guilty, or more exhausted than before. I'm not saying escape is shameful. We all do it sometimes. Life is hard, and sometimes we just need to not be present for a while. But I think it's worth knowing the difference. Because if you're feeling exhausted all the time, and you keep trying to rest, but it never seems to help, it might be because what you're actually doing is escaping. And escape doesn't restore. It just postpones. The tricky thing is, you can't always tell the difference from the outside. Two people might both be watching TV on a Saturday afternoon. One of them is resting, genuinely enjoying the show, feeling their body relax, letting their mind wander in a pleasant way. The other is escaping, barely paying attention to the screen, using it to avoid thinking about something painful, feeling a low hum of anxiety underneath the numbness. Same activity, totally different experience. So how do you know which one you're doing? I think the honest answer is you have to check in with yourself. Not in a judgmental way, not in a way that adds more pressure, just gently. You might ask yourself, am I here or am I hiding? Does this feel like receiving something or running from something? When this is over, will I feel more like myself or less? And if the answer is that you're escaping, that's okay. That's information, not condemnation. It might mean there's something you're not ready to face yet, and that's allowed. It might mean you need a different kind of rest, the kind that involves presence instead of absence. Or it might mean you just need to be gentle with yourself and try again tomorrow. The point isn't to get it right every time. The point is to start noticing. Because the more you notice the difference between rest and escape, the more you can choose rest when you actually need it. And rest, real rest, is where the restoration happens. So here's where I want to offer you something. Not a challenge, not a goal, not a new habit to add to your list. Just an invitation. Sometime in the next day or two, I want you to try resting. Not escaping, not collapsing, not filling the silence with noise, just resting. It might only be for 5 minutes. That's okay. You might sit in a chair and do nothing. You might lie down and close your eyes, even if you don't fall asleep. You might go outside and stand in the air for a while, not going anywhere. The form doesn't matter as much as the intention. The intention is, I am allowed to be still. I don't have to earn this. I can simply receive it. And when the voice comes, the one that says you should be doing something else, that you're wasting time, that you haven't earned this, I want you to notice it. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just notice it. And then, gently, let it pass. Like a cloud moving across the sky. It's there, and then it's gone. You might have to do this 100 times in 5 minutes. That's okay. The practice isn't about getting it right. It's about starting to change the pattern. Every time you notice the guilt and let it pass, you're building something new. You're teaching yourself that rest is allowed, that you don't have to justify your stillness, that you are more than what you produce. And here's the thing, it might not feel like anything at first. You might rest for 5 minutes and get up feeling exactly the same as before. That's okay. This isn't about immediate results. It's about slow, quiet change. The kind of change that happens underneath the surface, where you can't see it. The kind of change that one day you'll notice has already happened. So that's the invitation. 5 minutes. Maybe longer if you want. No guilt, no earning, just receiving. See what happens. We've been together for a while now, and I want to end the way we began, gently. You don't have to earn your rest. I know I've said that a few times now, but I think it bears repeating, because most of us need to hear it more than once, more than 100 times. We need to hear it until it starts to sink in, until it starts to loosen the grip of that old lie. You are not a machine. You are not here to optimize your output. You are a person, whole, beloved, allowed to be still. And if you've spent years believing otherwise, that's okay. You can start to believe something new. Not all at once, not perfectly, just slowly, one rest at a time. I don't know what tomorrow holds for you. I don't know what pressures you're facing, what responsibilities are waiting, what voices are telling you to keep moving. But I know this, you are allowed to stop, even for a moment, even now. So take a breath, let your shoulders drop, and know that you are held. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.